Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for our first map of the evening here on Mirage. We're going to be going into Rush versus NRG. Kind of like yesterday, in terms of the overall expectations here, should be pretty straightforward. NRG has been looking hot. They've got a nice core of players. Little Man, interestingly, being hot swapped over from the Rush roster as of yesterday. So a bit of an interesting turnout there. But overall, still leaving NRG as the stronger team overall here, right?
I mean, that's what you think. Don't put words in my mouth.
Well, elaborate then.
Well, Rush players are going to be coming out with fire. All right? Fire? Man left them playing with NRG. I mean, they're going to be pissed. They're going to know his every move. They're going to come out swinging, man. Doesn't matter if they're... It's going to read
them like a book. Just a little bit of
shutdown. Doesn't matter if they're 2-98. All right?
Wow, I didn't even know it could get that fast. Well, we are live now, folks, and NRG is going to be starting off on the CT side here with Rush jumping onto the T side. Let's take a look at how their pistol is going to be working out here for the first map. Pretty standard buys. No utility for Rush at all. Everybody just buys.
Do you know if Rush is an org, by the way?
I've always been really confused about this because I heard from one of them, I think I heard this properly, that they are an org, but they're not like really active at all. And then I heard from someone else that they're not an org. So I honestly have no clue.
That makes two of us.
Just what I've heard.
Just a straight contact. B, Daps gets the spot. He's going to drop an HE grenade, but he's out, like, so out of position right now. Yeah, now we can see Daps actually escaping in there for way longer than I expected. Little Man trading out at least one of them, so down to a 4v4 very quickly. And the pinch is coming in from not only on Cat, but also is going to be in for Market here in a moment. They don't have anybody going through Underpass, and actually both the Cat players have been dinked. 13 and 1 HP sitting on Little Man and Peter there. Fugly going down. These are good positions from the Rush guys. Now they just need to not get boxed out of them. Nice shot from Breezy, though, to be able to find Silent, but Ruro and Akis bouncing back. Breeze is still in this one, however, and has now brought it down to a 1v1 where he's going to push forward. He's got Mirage back out, pushing him back down below, but he's got to find him as he retreats over to Get Right. Can't hit the shot, though. Ruro clutches it out, and we'll see Rush take control of the pistol. Yeah, straight off that contact V-play, Daps really misplayed it. If he would have gotten into that back pillar and just stayed alive, they would not have been able to push him since they had two players on Catwalk. The players pushing him probably would have just died to the players on Catwalk. Instead, just kind of running around the, the boost box there, doesn't get anything done, and it's tough to play retake on that site.
Well, now we are going to see Rush splitting their players up here now into the second round with the victory. In their hands, we can see NRG again also doing something fairly standard as they go for the second round force. That they are trying to center the pressure around mid currently. Nobody
towards B though, and it's just going to be an absolute free site. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. I think especially if you just have like a Deagle or any of these angles, you could usually get a kill, like just a freebie against someone like this, kind of scouting it like so. So they're going to be able to just take the site for free.
Yeah, and we're going to see Rush starting to deploy out here in a moment now. Still no signs of anyone from NRG going for the rotate over towards B, so this is still going to be just at an open site. Easy to take control of. The mollies or smokes might have been heard by Little Man, and they'll start to move over now, but they're still, much like the pistol round, they're kind of going to be late to the party here, and unfortunately, by the time they actually are in positions to retake, NRG, or excuse me, Rush will already be posted up in their post-plant positions there, so it's pretty much going to be impossible.
I mean, yeah, just don't go for the round win. Try to get exits, maybe get a couple guns, and play for the next round. And that's exactly what they should do. And then all of a sudden, even though you stacked the site and you guessed wrong, you could salvage something and still have a chance to win the next round.
So Ruru actually finding quite a few of these players in the back B halls early on as he tries to kind of escape from outside. But he's not going to pressure it, though, for good reasoning. Obviously, quite a few of them stacked up there. And now we can see the rest of the team just trying to slowly retreat back out. Peter trying to push his way back in. See if he can knock any of them out, but he's the one with no buy into this round at all, so unfortunately he's going to be the easiest to take down. Everybody else does escape successfully over here into this into the back portion of the B halls there, and I don't think we're going to see any more contact made. So all the 4 remaining players from NRG do manage to save those pistol armor force up buys. Yeah, now here's the question: if you're Rush, do you do the same thing, or do you kind of switch it up, or maybe fake it? We usually see people when they do the anti-eco and it works. I want to say it's like pretty 50-50, man, whether they do the same thing. A lot of people just do the same thing if it worked. So NRG, they do it a little bit differently this time. They have 2 towards connector, 1 catwalk, and 1 towards B. So they're actually playing pretty much just a default setup, although PTR is kind of running back and forth. And Ruru trying to sneak his way forward here up the ramp now as he wraps into it. There's actually nobody paying attention to this at all, and Breeze is not really paying attention, you know, to a sandwich push either. So unless Peter spots him, if Ruru was to go for that cross and check on it, then it could go bad pretty quickly. Thankfully, Breeze is the one that checks for it. However, Ruru is still given time to react. Literally none of those CZ bullets end up connecting on him, so he's still got 100 HP. Good trade coming out from Fugly at the very least to take him back down. So we're into the 4v4, and there's still a lot of players from NRG stacked into this site yet to reveal themselves. You still have Dap sitting on the steps over there, along with another player by his ticket booth over here, which can spring back out and really make things interesting. But the bulk of the players from NRG are still playing over here around the jungle, steps in connector area. Peter did try to swing back out, not a whole lot of success being found. Little man trading out for one more kill, but that's all they're going to get. And Rush do indeed clean up onto the third round here as we push into the first gun round now.
Yeah, pretty clean anti-ecos for them. It's going to allow them to have a couple buys here before they do get resets, depending on if they get the bomb down, how much money they actually save, like if they keep a couple umps here. So they all upgrade, actually. So 4 AKs, 1 ump on silence, all but 1. And now it looks like it's 3 towards B halls, 1 towards middle, and 1 outside of A. No, 2 towards middle now.
Yeah, and Rush taking that first push over there towards mid, has the safety smoke to allow him to cross over to behind the boxes. He'll hold that position probably for a few more seconds before he does go out to investigate a little bit further. A few other players in those back B halls could lead itself into an underpass play, or another crunch into mid, depending on how they want to play this. That drop down from Ruru should have just been heard, however, by Little Man, so they're going to know that there's presence in these back halls and probably leading into underpass in a moment. So he's going to re-smoke off connector, prevent them from going in for a quick push there. Toy just trying to pre-fire into the position in connector, but not going to be hitting the mark, unfortunately. Molotov actually getting wasted as there's a little bit of smoke, it looks like, that spread up onto that top part of the platform. So it ends up going into that, and the whole molly just wastes itself away. Not that it would have hit a player anyway, but still. Peter actually the first to strike this time, though, as he does catch one from the connector, taking down Blade. Still really waiting to see if Rush are actually going to be able to make a move here now. They've got mid control, but they're really struggling, it seems like, to figure out a path which they can take onto one of the sites. As time is getting lower, down to 45 now, they're going to decide to execute instead over towards Cat and bring the bomb along with Ruru inside of the halls to execute out through the apartments instead. A very slow process for the Cat players to move up here and take control. And again, continuing to run that timer down. In the meantime, though, NRG, they haven't seen anything on A, so they have started to send a few more players over towards the B-bomb site. So they've got 2 on site, 2 more waiting inside of the market, and 1 more on A that can very quickly rotate over. So he's already over at Ticket right now. Dap striking first, picks up a kill, does lose a teammate, however, just a moment later, and it's 2 for 2 traded back out. Akis taking heavy damage, however, and this combined with the earlier kill from Peter leaves the guys on NRG with an advantage, and not only that, but the bomb just went down. There's only 7 seconds remaining. There's no way Rush is going to be able to pull this one back off. Peter seals the deal, and it's NRG to claim the first gun round.
Yeah, still those 2 kills were pretty big. They're going to have another crack at it here in order to reset their economy. They might even have another one after this, as again those anti-ecos went pretty well. So they might even buy after this. Even if they lose this round, they'll still be able to have a pretty decent buy, maybe with a couple AKs if they want it.
Well, now we are going to see Rush going for that same style of top mid control probably early on here after they get the smoke out. Peter is available on Cat to challenge it, and he has the ability to peek through this smoke a little bit because he take the position on Cat. However, he was spotted apparently, so Akis is going to spray into that. Find Peter. Won't get the full kill, but he does bring him down to 16 HP, and that should pretty much isolate most of the mid pressure for right now, allowing again for Rush to get really early control of it. Now beyond that, just this
round's going much smoother for Rush. They already have connectors control. They have full mid control, 4 in mid, 1 towards A. Bomb's kind of out there though, but they have, again, like, they're just running all across the map. NRG is like, PTR goes now to spawn, another player goes towards catwalk. Like, they're just all over the place on the mini map. So a little bit of confusion on NRG, but they do get into their setup, and Rush isn't able to take advantage of that confusion.
Yeah, and Dap's even pushing into the apartments a little bit there now, so he's going to be able
I would be amazed, though, if Blade doesn't molly under Belk, so this could be problematic for Breeze.
As he's going to be waiting it out now for the rest of his team to get in position to execute here. Rush is getting prepared for it. Blade still looking right to that ladder to see if anyone from NRG is going to pop back up and check for it before he himself does start to move back in, but it's not looking like we've seen that Molotov get deployed just yet. He's jiggling out, not so much so into the op, but there's the molly going down below, the nade as well, but Breezy already moved outside of it, and he's now just outside of Firebox. Peter's supporting him too. Problem is both of them are looking over here towards Palace. Peter's gonna get that first shot. Breezy there after Akis trades onto one, but then he also goes down to Ruru, pushing in for the connector here. Now, Peter's the only one stuck here, but he's only got 16 HP, and a Molotov is easily gonna send him out. Little man back into the fray though, trades out 2 more kills, and again, I think they're out of time. They're not gonna be able to play at the bomb. It's way too far away from Akis. He's just gonna have to pick up the op, sit in a corner, and try to save it. His NRG are going to win this one out. Akis just runs away from nades. He does survive the round, though.
That was just absolutely perfect positionally from Rush. They had a player ladder, they had a player connector, 2 players A ramp and 1 A halls with a molly underneath bow. They had everything positionally speaking that you want to win that round. The lurk, though, doesn't do great. Fugly jumps out of window. They get 1 kill on the lurk from the ladder room player. The connector player comes up and gets 1 kill, but they should have won that round, positionally speaking. Like, that's exactly what you want on Mirage.
Yeah, Peter as well taking an early battle here on Cat. Finds quite a few players, but just can't hit the mark. He's tagged slightly through a wall down to 66. And after that, backs himself away from it. So again, we're going to see that mid-control rolling in from the Rush squad here as they take it just within the first 15-20 seconds of the round. And they're not just doing damage to Peter either. Little man's been dropped out 80 of his health and now down at 20.
Yeah, and I mean, NRG doesn't have much utility. I mean, Rush, if they could just like do what they did last round, they could very easily win this round. A big problem the round before, if you notice, Blade actually went out of the halls and died. If he would have just kept jiggle peeking and showing his gun, I bet they win the round. That's a big deal. Because Breeze and PTR were both watching, just sitting there at the A halls.
Well, we have Rush trying to sneak their way in through connector again. There's going to be no ramp presence this time. Fugly spots the play over from mid, and is really just going to back away from the site for right now, actually. Yeah,
Breeze went aggressive into A halls, so they're going to think it's B, and they're all rotating out, and Bomb's just coming up towards connector.
So the bomb itself is yet to move in. We are seeing the rest of Rush try to move in towards jungle in the window room to take control there to prevent any early flanks to shut down their attempt to plant before they go for this.
It just doesn't... I don't know why they take such a massive risk like this, though. Like, if they just had 3 towards B, you don't trust your teammates enough to hold that. You really need that 4th player there. It doesn't... It's ridiculous.
Yeah, so now Fugly, in an attempt to rotate back early, he already got smoked back out. Can't really do much until Rush themselves get aggressive, which they did, granted, to NRG's own credit there. They're going to find 1 kill. Unfortunately, it means very little when Toy is able to just trade another one back out, down to a 4v4, and they're set up for the rest of these players that are trying to move into retake here. So this is not really going to be much of a successful effort from the NRG side of things. Even these last 2 attempting to retreat, they're very low. Silent wants to take the risk. He can more than likely get the kills. There's 1 retrieving it up now. Little Man, I think, crept through without being realized, so he's probably going to make it out alive. And same for Daps, but the round itself very much goes into Rush, and they don't even have to do much.
Yeah, I mean, you have a 3rd player towards B in PTR who could also watch the window and CT spawn flank. There's no reason to have Fugly there as well. Like, I understand sending the 3rd person there. You do not need to send the 4th person there. You know, PTR could watch double duty. You don't need, like, just because somebody pushes halls doesn't mean that A all of a sudden cannot be taken or anything like that. You know, there's a connector and there's also an A ramp, and they could easily, you know, throw a fake towards B and go towards A. Like, you don't need to take those type of risks. And quite frankly, NRG has good enough players where if they have 3B, they should be able to hold it against anybody. They do not need that 4th player there.
Well, NRG are going to be back to a more default setup, a 3-2 split. They are keeping only 1 in B and 1 in the window room for right now, and it's none of them the first kill. In fact, Breezy, nice angle here to pick up a kill. Just a little bit of sight while inside of that underpass area there, and he's able to catch 1 on top of Tetris. Unfortunately, massive trades roll in from the Rush players as both Ruru and Toy pick up 3 kills combined. Toy getting himself the 4th now out here in mid as he eliminates Peter. So it's just going to be Daps trying to clutch this, but he gets himself a double. So now we're in a 1v1. Minute and 10 left. Toy has all the time in the world to play with this. And he is just going to be slowly creeping up towards A to look to find that plant. Well, Daps looks for another flank over here towards the murder hole. We'll have to wait and see. I'm not sure if there was a whole lot of action over here, so I'm not really sure if he's going to be able to find an upgraded gun or anything by going through that path, but we'll find out in a moment as he does creep into it. And there's going to be an M4 on the ground, but finds himself in the battle, and Toy will end up winning it out.
Yeah, huge lurk. Ends up with 2 kills on the lurk in that 3v4 situation with Ruru dinked as well. Ruru somehow gets another kill from under Balk. But this is a mistake by Rush. Whenever you're in situations like this, you never want to force the plant. They force that plant. Toy can't watch jungle and connector from his position. So that player on default, yeah, he only has to watch CT spawn, but again, like, a flash happens, anything can happen, and the round can happen like that, where it plays out, and forcing NRG on a save now. But what you want to do there, Boo, is you want to kind of just jiggle peek and get the information and just kind of hold a little bit. Don't force the plant. He could be flanking. He could be kind of anywhere. Hold a bit, get the information, and then once you find him out, as long as you play smart like that, then it's really easy to plant, and you're going to be in a 3v1.
Well, now we do have Rush trying to go for much faster control here towards B, at least distracting it with Blade, while the rest of the team swings into A. And while NRG, they had a big stack at B, but now they've got to roll it over to the other side as Rush are once again walking into A to take free control. This is like the third time in this half we've seen them do that. Toy, a little bit of lag there, like for a second, allows Daps to get that kill, so...
Oh, no.
Oh, now they're going to be able to move back in to cut site control, but Rush is still trying to hold this off a little bit. Down will go silent, though, and Angus as well.
Are you kidding me?
Oh, my goodness. A near team ace from NRG on what was just upgraded pistols for the most part. And they'll win it out.
Oh, there were some USPs in there.
Yeah.
They just won a 4... They have 4 alive at the end there.
Yeah. I have no clue what happened either.
Wow.
So, big mistake from Rush. Multiple mistakes, actually.
Yeah. That's that is a giant swing.
And that's going to give NRG a huge advantage, assuming they can carry it through a Rush. Still has the cash flow to buy back into it, but NRG...
After a round like that, Will Man's like, thank God I'm not on that team.
Yeah, and NRG basically get a free gun run out of it. I'm pretty sure 4 to 5 of their guns are coming from the last round after they killed players. So they're going to try to swing now over here towards B. Defenses are somewhat light, but rotations are going to be quick. In comes Little... Oh! Great swing kill from Toy. Little Man was right in his face at a 90-degree angle, but Toy still finds his mark and gets that kill. 5v3, early advantage to Rush here, and they're continuing to get aggressive here. More damage done to Peter now as he's dropped down to 18 and a slight peek towards window. Rush should have this held. And I'm pretty sure NRG aren't even going to attempt to move outside of the market now. They're already falling back into window and whatnot. They'll be saving, and this is going to be a 6th Rush as they recover off that last loss there.
Yeah, and Daps at B just having troubles kind of as the hunt is going on. And Breeze and Fugler are just going to try to save these guns. We'll see if Silent kind of gives them this free kill in the murder hole. But, you know, Daps is kind of letting them run up on him, and he's not getting into like a back left pillar or back right pillar or something like that, and that's really where the troubles are coming from.
Well, off of that Rush, still getting to hold the advantage here on T side now. With NRG falling behind, they are thankfully going to have enough cash to be able to buy into this next round. Keep in mind, again, their last buy round was essentially for free. I think everybody except for Little Man managed to get themselves a free AK, or the op in the case of Peter, off of killing Rush in that huge eco upset. So they can still actually buy into it themselves. But you know, Rush also back into the fray now, so this match continues to have quite a few gun runs in it because of slip up mistakes in the economies from both teams here. And now Rush back to their old tricks, essentially prioritizing top mid control early on. They've got a few players in the back B halls that can go through underpass, take the control there, you know, within just a few seconds notice if needed. And for the most part, Rush have not really struggled with getting this control, so I doubt they're going to be worried about this in the early round. It's transitioning it onto a site where things have sometimes been a little bit rocky. It's actually been NRG that have over-rotated off the sites, which have given them the ability to push through and win out rounds more times than not here. But we're going to see in a second as they do swing up towards Cat to take a tad of control. Little Man spotting it on the jump, and Fugly, along with Peter, and then Fugly again. 3 quick kills. That entire squad that was moving together in a bulk just gets completely destroyed by NRG. And Daps already hears them coming out from the apartments, so the guys on Rush need to move quickly. Thankfully, they catch the first 2 kills here on the B bomb site. So an attempt to swing back is now alive, forcing the plant quickly so that they can try to get, at the very least, that bonus cash now. As NRG themselves move in for the retake really quickly, and Fugly, he's going to be lurking on a flank here. Peter and Breeze probably patiently waiting for Fugly to get into a position, but it is going to be slightly suspicious now. As Blade also starts to look in the other direction, he'll be mollied out from the completely safe position over here on the bench. The timing on this one, well, we'll see in a moment here, but he does check back for Fugly. Fugly still wins it out. There'll be a trade from Toy, but now he's got to pick up 2 more here. Thankfully, it's planted for him. He can stay in this position, but he remains in the open, so Peter just peeks him with an op, knocks him out, and it's a round for NRG as they go up to 4 now.
Yeah, and I believe Rush is going to be able to buy here. So this is going to be one of those rounds where whoever's going to win this is going to reset the other team. Rush should buy here. I know their buy isn't great, But this is one of the rounds where if they could win this round, like, they will be hugely favored for this game as long as they don't get, you know, ecoed in a terrible fashion like before.
Well, now Rush do indeed buy into it.
But again, I mean, that's just the problems on the B side. That was 2v5, wasn't it? 2v5, and they got it down to a 2v1 post-plant.
Peter striking first in this round here as he eliminates Silent right at the beginning. And the rest of Rush stacked on the B halls. Probably going to go for quick contact out onto B. Smokes and whatnot being deployed here now. And for the most part, NRG, I mean, they're going to be ready for this one. Daps getting himself huge damage. Only gets 1 kill. Blade apparently just takes down Akis in the process. And then Daps as well will catch 1 more kill with his USP at the end of it. Pretty casual round. Unfortunately, Rush trying to sort of rush their way and doesn't really work out.
Yeah, just trying to bulldoze through that smoke for upper B, but without any type of middle presence, that catwalk player is going to be towards B as well. So you're going to have 2 players just holding strong on that site. Daps playing behind the smoke. You're not giving yourself much of a chance to win that round unless you kind of miracle like a Tech 9 kill right off the bat through like on Daps. And even then, Lil Man's going to know you're coming. So they're just going to set up for A smokes. I do think, though, that if you want to beat this NRG team, from what I have seen, as they're really just trying to get the bomb down here. I mean, Glocks and P250s. That's their most. That's what they're planning on for this round. I think you want to just keep taking mid control and just waiting, because they just use all their smokes around middle right away.
Well, now Breezy is going to catch the first kill. Oh, nice shot. Little man as well. Catches the plant. The spotting's going to get a second player attempting to plant. And again, the round for Rush just goes absolutely nowhere. NRG barely even take any damage.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't spend much money, you know, maybe 600 apiece. Just really hoping to get that money back and the bomb down, maybe get 1 or 2 kills. But yeah, so NRG at middle, what they're doing a lot on their CD side is they're even re-smoking connector from catwalk. So they're using most of their utility at middle essentially just to delay the other team. If Rush could kind of understand that's what's happening and go back to what they were doing before, where they just, as PTR jumps on catwalk for the 3rd round now, Molly's toy behind the box, gets just spammed through, straight through the smoke.
Not only that, but Breezy's gone out fragging here. He's got himself a shooting gallery from behind. Ticket booth, Fugly wants a piece of it, so he swings in for 1 more kill, but it's Breeze that ends up with the 3K there and stops the forced attempt to push into A, where NRG now are starting to solidify a lead for themselves, taking it away from Rush.
NRG got a good pickup in Breeze. This guy is going to be everything that I know about him. He's going to be like a rising star. I mean, not only is he very mechanically gifted, but he's not like toxic. He's like a really good teammate. He's like a nice, humble kid, you know? He's like the exact type of player that if you're going to pick somebody up and like he's like that type of a teammate, you know? Like that's the type of player personality-wise that you want to play with. Somebody completely opposite of me. Just like, what are you doing?
Well, now on to an eco again, which for Rush have been rather unsuccessful. We do have Rush trying to go back to the mid control, but it's been very easily read. However, first kill goes by the way of Rush. Little man, though, chiming back in from the cap position and playing around that smoke attack. He's still cautious of them playing from top mid. However, fails to account for a second player that'd be close to the connector. So, 2-for-1 trades. Now, though, they've got to get into the site, and this is where the problem areas are going to start to show. Breezy still holds Firebox, even though Daps is getting all the kills right now. Daps again steals 1 from Breeze. Sees the 3. Finally, Breeze will get 1 on his own, however, as they do close out on the round with only losing those 2 at mid.
Yeah, America, I don't know. NA actually has a lot of like really good young talent. I mean, you talk about like Twist is going to be really, really good. I think Breeze is going to end up being really, really good. You know, obviously we have like Stewie and whatnot as well. But there's a lot of really good up-and-coming players. Ocean.
You never know.
Ocean's just hitting his prime. Oh, too. They're hitting their prime right now.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. Sleeping on them.
Invest now.
Yeah, invest now.
Before he commits the chance.
Org needs to sign him to like a 10-year deal right now, like off this broadcast. They're like, what? Ocean.
It's the first we're hearing of it.
Yeah.
Well, now we do have Rush trying to go again back for mid-control. They do have Blade lurking in Palace as well. So, again, probably going to be per the status quo, just another like attempt to pinch through the connector once more while having Blade probably coming a little bit late on the lurk there. But We do have the players on Rush pretty much taking free mid-control. There was 0 resistance on it from NRG this time. They all moved.
And look, there's a minute left in the round. No smokes on NRG. Like, this is how you beat them.
They're going to have nothing left to hold it, so they try to get aggressive instead to hunt for intel. Enough of that. Akis is going to catch a first kill on Peter. Not only that, but Blade finds Breeze, who's been incredibly crucial to the defense of the A-bomb side. Fugly now sitting over here. It was Daps in the previous few rounds that was actually assisting Breeze, and now you've got Fugly here who's going to try to do some work himself. Unfortunately, they lose Daps on a rotate. I mean, either site is really open now. Like, even the guys on A are held back passes behind Ticket, so they can just play on the other side of the trip stack and be relatively safe. But they have full control of B and A, so they can really go either direction here. And it is looking like they're finally going to decide to send the bomb into the apartments instead. But Little Man now rotating into B. He's going to catch one on Toy. That's going to be able to take him down. And all of a sudden, NRG may have a route back into this game. They've got to be really careful of that lurk from Ruru, though. As he's moving in through the cross space, now catches Fugly looking in the wrong direction. And this will pretty much seal the deal. Little Man holds for one more, but he's still got 2 more kills to get here. They know exactly where he's at. He's at 46 HP. He has no additional utility to play with. Well, the bomb was just planted. He has a kit. Time is one of the few things that Little Man has on his side. As he moves in, they can hear him. They now know he's out. And eventually, they just double peek him to close out the round and bring Rush back into it. And off of that, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to indeed close out the half. Much closer than I, at the very least, expect, with Rush picking up 7 rounds, including the pistol in the first 2 there. So we'll see in a few minutes if they can keep it close, or if NRG are going to kick it into high gear to try and shut things down in the second half of Mirage.
ESL Pro League is brought to you in part by Logitech G, Pay Safeguard, Legion Lenovo, Mountain Dew League, and ESEA.
Well, we are back again, folks, here into a close match between Rush and NRG. NRG have the lead, but it's only slight, 8-7. Here as we're about to jump into the second half of Mirage, and NRG are about to take on the T side here now. So Days, overall, I mean, impressions on the first half here, Rush actually looking pretty good for quite a few of those runs, but also some massive slip-ups that allowed NRG to get back into the game, like that eco round.
Yeah, I mean, overall, I think if Rush, obviously they blew that one round where they basically lost to, like, USPs and a couple CZs and P250s. But as far as like just round to round is concerned, if they would have just taken a default, taken mid control, let NRG burn all their smokes and utility, so they were just using like everything just to delay them in the middle, which is, in my opinion, just like not a good way to play. I think they would have won that half really easily. You know, they were able to get ladder room control, they were able to get connector control, they were able to do whatever they wanted. And even the, and I mean, like the round that they lost when they did that, when they had a guy ladder, you know, and ended up in that, I think it was a 1v1?
Yeah.
Or maybe a 2v2. It was a round that they should have won. But, you know, they all just kind of like didn't execute properly. But positionally speaking, like, and utility-wise speaking, they were winning that type of battles. They just needed to, you know, Blade needs to just stay alive in the A halls. He needs to just molly under Balk, show his gun, and then come out at the right time. He cannot be the first death. And then you could, you know, win that round a lot easier.
Well, as you can see, the live on 3 is starting now, folks. So we are going to be getting live right a moment here, as NRG once again do have the lead for anyone that is just joining us. It's 8-7. Rush now having to jump onto the CT side. We'll see if their consistency fares any better, and they'll have the ability to Not only try and close out this second pistol, but follow through with it. Be able to take control of the map, or if we can see NRG come back in full swing on their T side and see them leading the charge here. 3-1-1 split initially from the NRG camp, but those players in the B halls moving fast up towards underpass. Little man going to make a little bit of noise here inside of the apartments. Let's just try and throw off the B players a little bit here, but for the most part, the goal is mid control, and they have succeeded in it, as Rush did not even really look to defend it. They do have a two-man defense set up over here towards A, I believe. And we can already see one of them on the other side getting into some trouble. And Silent brought down to 14 HP, nice and early in the round here, trying to play towards the bench spot. You have to hope now that if he gets eliminated, Toy is going to be able to bring it back. And while originally, again, that mid control may have swung itself in the other direction towards A, now it is possibly seeming likely to go towards B, but hold on, the options are again shifting in the NRG camp, as they are once again changing up their dynamic and sending it over into the A site instead. Once more, this is actually the better choice. You've only got 2 players here to hold it currently, and one of them is occupied over in Palace. So really just Ruru here underneath of the balcony that's going to be able to try and hold off, but he doesn't get anything done at all. Daps immediately takes him down. Akis is going to hope for surprise, but nope. Fugly's there. Gets the instant headshot against Akis to knock him back out, and it's just Toy, Blade, and Silent having to rotate over from the other side. Now granted, 2 of them already sitting over here at ticket booth, so they can try to find an impact quickly, but with basically 0 damage done, all they're doing is giving away their position. Daps and Peter knocking out those 2 ticket players just one by one, not struggling with it at all. There's basically no hope for Toy. This is going to be NRG claiming their T-side pistol.
Yeah, and NRG's plan was to send Breeze up jungle and then hit B. But because Breeze was just sitting in the window and the window was closed, and he was like, wait a sec, let's just kind of chill out on this. Guys, can you just come back to A maybe? And they canceled, you know, what their initial strategy was, which was him go through jungle and then forego towards B. So that was a really good adjustment by them. They didn't force anything. They kind of played to what their teammates communicated to each other, and then adjusted and won that round really easily because of it.
Well, now Rush are going to go for a bit more of a gamble stack over here towards A. They've got 4 players situated in the site. Note they did not go for the full-on force-up for the second round here. They do only have the pistols. There's no armor or utility being brought up behind it, and Akis not purchasing anything at all. They've already eliminated Ruru, trying to peek towards the ramp. And on B, if we do see NRG starting to follow through with that, it would only end up finding Silent positioned here. But again, change-ups on the NRG decision here, as they instead pull their players back from the B halls and are going to just swing it into just a pretty much direct A play. Few splitting into the Palace, but beyond that, the other remaining 3 are more than likely going to end up going in through ramp. Now, with the lack of pressure being thrown against them, Rush have gotten a little bit more aggressive at posting up here. Fuck is going to check for this. He's digged to the first one. Toy's going to trade, and they trade it right back. Blade holds on his own. Same problem, though, as the trades continue to roll out in the favor of NRG. And at the end of the engagement, it is left into a 3-on-1 with Silent. Does the last man standing. Trying to pull off a flank, but I imagine by the time he gets into a position where he can even really do anything, NRG are already going to be posted up, and there won't be much that he can accomplish. The round itself should go into NRG's hands. We see happening right about now.
Yeah, it's still not bad. I mean, you get 2 kills. You didn't really invest anything, right? Nobody even had half armor. So a very conservative second round buy coming out from Rush, and we'll see if they want to end up doing, like, I don't know if they do a double up on this team, though. Because I think Akis, Blade, Ruru, and Toy are like straight riflers. Well, Silent again. I mean, sometimes Silent, one of the most inconsistent players. He really is.
Silent's not doing too hot in this match either.
Pretty silent.
Hey, yeah, he's down at like 4 and 14 at this point. Next teammate is Blade at 8, so he's having a bit of a rough one.
He's just so good sometimes and so bad other times.
Yeah.
just being honest.
To his credit,
I tell him that. He agrees with me when I play like Rank S. I'm like, Silent, why are you so good sometimes? And then sometimes you just can't kill anything.
To his credit, he was tweeting earlier about like a sound issue or something with his computer, so I don't know if he's still having that problem, but he might be dealing with that tonight. Just decided to play with it, see how bad it was going to be. But for the most part, NRG executing through this round without too much of an issue. Toy picking up the AK, trying to do some work with it, but doesn't end up getting much. And it's actually Ruru that finds a kill with the USP. NRG only lose Fugly that time, so much cleaner than the previous round. And now we get into the first gun round.
Yeah, NRG takes an 11-7 lead. They do have full utility, though, on the CT side.
The op is going to roll in for Silent now, so we'll see if he's hopefully able to get a little bit more work done with this. I think in most, I don't even remember seeing the op too much on the T side, to be completely honest with you. But most of the times we did, I think, for the most part, Peter winning out the op v op battles here in mid. Where Silent's going to be restricted nice and early here as he's pushed back.
Yeah, I can't recall Silent up another.
And with smokes being deployed into both the connector and reapplied into the window there, we're actually going to see NRG get pretty easy control in mid. Fugly knows Akis is sitting in that corner, so he can just walk right up and take him down. Easy start to it for the NRG camp. Ruru, however, waiting inside of the ladder room is available for a response. So he's going to be able to pick one more up. Dab's just slowly creeping out, and no punishment on that one until he goes and swings wide. That's where Silent is going to pick up the additional kill here and is ready for more should the guys from NRG decide to swing into the connector. Peter is hoping that Silent creeps up and overpeaks so he can punish him, but I think he's chilling, happy to just hang out over here by ticket booth right now. And no real progress being made on NRG besides that, as Peter just pulls back entirely from mid to regroup with the bomb carrier, and they are going to have Little Man hang out over by the chair spot, probably to act as a sort of late entry into connector and punish anyone that would try to chase Rush back up through mid there. Rush themselves are pretty spread out. The only defenses they have ready on A is still going to be just Silent, but they've got one in the market. Ruru is pretty far back behind that like cash register, so we should be able to rotate in just within a moment's notice. However, Silent, the timing on him changing out this position is not really going to work out too well for him. They're flooding into the site. Not sure if he's able to hear them walking around just yet, but they're going to be moving up in a moment. And as he looks for it, the shot from Peter actually misses, so he's alerted to their presence, but all of a sudden the bomb's on the ground, so he's going to call for reinforcements really quickly. They've only just realized this, so in a second, Ruru, he's going to be grouping up with Silent. Molly in the way, though, so they can't start the retake anytime soon unless they want to try to pressure through that. Toy is also making his way over here. All three try to push back in. Peter, though, wins out the op battles. He takes down Silent. And now the last two, again, not with a whole lot to really work with here. They are just essentially going to walk into their own death. Peter killing one, does have to back away because of the Molotov here, but Toy, even though he's in the site, it's going to be tough to get anything done. Little Man with a nice shot closes out the first gun round for NRG.
Yeah, and I think if you're Silent there, because after you killed Daps, it was so disconnected, it might be a good idea in that scenario to actually get out of CT since they knew he was there. That's like you saw PTR just sat there the entire time looking at CT. Sometimes it's better to relocate in that situation. You know, even if you take the risk, right? You go up towards like under Balk or something, maybe go up the ladder, walk into halls, pick up Dap's AK maybe, and hold it from there and show him something, you know, different and a different type of look.
And we did get a stat from the production room, and that was actually in that last round there. That was the first kill Silent actually got with an op so far in the game. So that was hold true with what we were talking about in the last round there, with him barely being able to pick it up on the T side. So now NRG having an absolute advantage here, in theory, should have a pretty easy time of walking through this round. You are going to note that there's a bit of aggression coming out from Rush to the T ramp there. This could trip up potentially a few players if Breezy's caught on bad timing, but I think BBC, or the guys over here on Rush end up just slightly missing the note. As they creep through T-spawn, they're not going to be able to catch. I think it's Breeze and mid just yet, but the question is he going to go back and check it, and is he going to be ready for it? He does take the engagement, but he ends up going down to Akis. So there's one small little victory for Rush that they can use to try and swing this round in their favor. As just a moment ago, NRG, we're getting ready to deploy basically everyone except for Daps into the site. Now, though, the problem is Daps, he got free A control, but these guys really can't safely fall back. They are going to have to battle it up. They get those kills so quickly, though. Blade and Akis go down immediately in that battle. They don't even do any damage at all to the members of NRG leaping out from the B halls. So now Daps can patiently wait, and anyone that crosses out from Market is also going to be dead meat here, as Daps picks up Toy, goes out towards mid, finds another one. That's Silent down on the ground now, and Ruru's still stuck in the B site. Can't really get much done. The round will go into the favor of NRG once more as they push on 13, just 3 away, and really only 1 or 2 more gun rounds away from claiming this map in their favor.
Yeah, it's looking very good for NRG right now. They have a lot of money. They have a good round lead. They're the better team. So everything's going pretty well for them.
Yeah, I think we're back.
They have more than one op kill.
I think we're back on track in terms of what we expected from this match now at this point. As NRG pushed ahead, and they've got a pretty solid lead now once they jumped on a T side here. Well, Rush is going to look to respond to it, of course, here now, as I believe they've just bought into this one. This is also what we should note, too. The perfect half so far from NRG. Have yet to lose it. But, granted, they won the pistol. Next 2 rounds after that are relatively easy, and then we've had only 1 gun round. So this is going to be another test to make sure they can remain consistent, and we don't see Rush just bouncing back into it. This is actually going to be one of their only real chances, especially with this kind of drastic scoreline now. Obviously, having to save after this one, unless they want to force to try and play for the outright win in regulation. They'll have one more gun round when NRG gets up to 15, but still, then that's asking for 8 rounds straight, and I am pretty sure that a team like Rush is not going to be able to accomplish something like that. It's going to be a little bit too far in the realm of fantasy. NRG taking their time though on this gun round. You can see Fugly pretty late to move in for early mid control here. A minute left on the clock when he finally gets himself up on top of the mid box there. The rest of the team is kind of hanging out just outside of the apartments over there towards B.
They still have so much utility onto Rush, and this is something that I don't think NRG did properly, but Rush is doing it better.
Yeah, and Rush are still kind of waiting this one out. 4 Molotovs deployed. Most of their smokes are gone. Silence still has 1, but everyone except for Silence still has a molly to try and toss back out. NRG themselves are looking to get into this site. There's no response nades being tossed in from the CTs. They're just relying on their rifles. 2 for 1 to start it off as Ruru gets a double. Unfortunately gets pushed by Fugly in mid. Silent getting caught out there, trying to duck and weave from behind over here at the bench position, but he's still going to end up getting pushed. Tries to go for that no-scope. Not going to happen. It's Akis that trades out the next kill from within side of Market, but now they're not going to be able to stop the plant any further. Peter, though, being caught at an interesting angle, actually, down at 4 HP. I don't even know if he was aware of where he was being shot from now. He's been knocked out by Akis, and Daps has just gotten into this site. Thankfully, his first kill's for free. He's not really looking towards that. They do have to throw the nade back in, but Blade just goes looking for that kill. And off of that, Daps is going to be able to clutch it out and bring NRG yet another round.
Yeah, you know, Silent again. I mean, not to harp on the guy, but he's at bench. He lets his teammate die while they're coming up catwalk. He doesn't get any kills when they're coming out of B. The timings were off when he was speaking things. Didn't protect his teammate. And even after that, wasn't even able to connect on that frag onto PTR. So, Silent not really showing up here in these crucial moments for Rush.
Yeah, now we do have, actually what's going to be a bit of an interesting battle here at mid. Akis completely blinded out. I don't know if Fugly saw him though, so he can re-peek after the flash is gone. Fugly did pick up another kill before going down further up on the catwalk, however, and with Daps taking out Blade, now they've opened Pandora's box in the A-bomb site. This is going to lead the bomb back through T-spawn, over into the site itself. Daps taking even steps control now, completely restricting the Rush players. They did attempt to try and get themselves back into the game on this round. Keep that in mind as well. They forced themselves into it. They're probably going to do so in the next round here, but Akis going down. Toy, the last man standing. Yes, he can trade onto Daps, but getting more than that done is going to be trouble. And even he knows now the drastic reality of their economy. And as he tries to retreat back out through the underpass, Peter takes him down before he can even get outside of the window. Yeah,
and Rush, you know, they have money bonus, so they're going to be able to get a little bit of a buy here. But, you know, game point for NRG, and it was looking good for Rush, and then they lost that crucial round, and their T side so far has just been pretty CT side has been pretty abysmal, but they had a solid T half.
Yeah. Like I said, if they didn't lose that round, and there was, like I said, you were mentioning they were not really punishing the overuse of the utility from NRG. If they caught onto that, they could have had a much more advantageous scoreline coming out of the first half. Well, Toy, though, is going to catch Peter, kind of just waltzing through a smoke over here early on. He's going to move to try and pick up the op. Little man does respond to that, actually. It was looking like he wouldn't take the hint for a second, but he does end up going back in. And not only that, but Breezy finding a kill. And
did we just witness?
I even had to look at that for a moment, as Akis takes him a moment, but he does catch the T under the platform there. And now Ruru is going to be waiting from in front of the van, taking out one more. Fugly looking to trade onto Ruru, but not going to happen. Ruru holds strong at this van position, and Akis closes out, finally ending the flawless streak up to that point that NRG had going on their T side. And off of that, we will see another round added to Rush, but they've got a long way to go now to get back into this battle.
Yeah, pretty scrimming around there from NRG. Doesn't work out for him. It was a situation that they could have won, though. They're just going to be, if they would have gotten like a clean entry on that guy or even put it into a 2v1 post plant, they had a good chance, but Rue did a good job holding.
Yeah, and with 7 rounds straight before finally losing one, NRG do end up with, I imagine, quite a decent amount of money. I don't know what the residuals are looking like afterwards. And actually, they're brought down pretty low. They've got probably like one more buy into the next round. And
well, NRG buys so conservatively that I think maybe if they lose this round, they might not.
Well, they go back to much slower style of play for this round, as I imagine they do want to try to close this out before Rush are given an opportunity to close the gap and take this into OT. Breezy, along with Daps, already trying to slowly move out and take a little bit of control towards A. Not a huge effort onto it, though, and it's actually Daps and Breezy both hitting their marks early on. Well, the Breezy's left very low afterwards, and with Daps trying to move forward here, Ruru is able to trade. He even tries to push forward and find the second kill onto Breeze here, and he almost gets it. 5 more damage knocked off of the already remaining 10 HP that was on him there. Brings him down incredibly low, but he does just barely escape And will now move away to regroup with the rest of his teammates who are going to attempt to make a push over here into the B site instead. Flash is going into the apartments first off, but that acts as a sort of warning signal for the CTs on the site. They know something is going to be rolling in here now. Little Man hunting, can't catch the position of Toy just yet, but Fugly takes direct contact, and he does win it out. So now a 4v2, now, excuse me, a 4v1 after Ruru does get eliminated trying to flank. It's all on Silent here. He's remained relatively quiet throughout most of this map, but he could be the hero to keep his team in the game if he can clutch this out somehow. Two of their players are low, but he's not going to do it. Little Man holds close contact at the window and closes out for NRG as they'll claim map number 1 here on Mirage and start their night off 1-0.
Yeah, and Ruru with a giant flank. I'm surprised he wasn't, like, he read that they were going B. 3 guys were going through those halls. He was already through underpass, just was unable to connect on any kills in that last round. But NRG's T side, almost flawless, and Rush on that CT side, just they gave him a huge economical boom. They didn't buy like second round or anything, was very conservative. And then on those fully bought rounds, Silent kind of messing up a couple of those rounds when he definitely was in position and had chances to win it.
All right, well, let's bring the analysts into the conversation now, get their thoughts on Rush. Again, showing some good stuff on their T side, but really, for the most part, falling flat on their second half.
For sure, a lot closer in the first half than I would have said it was going to be, but Rush coming out swinging really has something in their favor for momentum on the first half.
Yeah, actually, again, it kind of leads back to what we've been talking about, Rush, the fact that they kind of work well doing the basics, the cookie cutter stuff, and that was, taking mid control for the better part of that T side, and it was working really well because, as Dace mentioned multiple times, NRG for some reason decided to spend the most part of the utility to actually just delay whatever Rush were setting up in mid, which doesn't really make a lot of sense. It doesn't really do anything for you if you're NRG if you're not planning to do anything behind it, and they didn't really do that for a lot of their CT side. So Rush doing a pretty good job of actually taking advantage of that, being able to grab a couple of rounds on the board. I think they probably should have been able to win that T side, in all honesty.
Well, let's take a look now at something Rush does really well. Let's take a look at round 8 here in the first half. We do see them up and score, but walk us through what's going on here.
Yeah, so they've been doing really well for themselves up until this point, and honestly, I think it's perfectly fine what they do here. They send a Mac 10 guy out. They know they're up against an eco, so to kind of gaze what's going on, and they find out that it's a pretty significant stack over on the B bomb site, so they do the correct thing of actually going straight for A. It's a pretty quick rotation as well. The problem here is Toy's decision to actually decide to run into the CT spawn all by his lonesome, whether or not that's the decision he makes on his own, or whether or not somebody was supposed to be with him. Obviously, impossible for us to tell, but if you're going to go dive into CT spawn like that, in any sort of situation, you need to have a second guy there so you can get the trade frags in and not allow NRG to actually get anything out of it. They end up finding a weapon off of it. Peter's able to take out the guy who's playing A-halls. The guy who's planning is obviously not in a position to actually deal with the fact that there's 3 people from NRG coming in as well, and it just ends up being a completely unnecessary round that Rush lose with a ton of utility left as well. You can see a bunch of smokes, mollies, and so on that they had at the ready that they just didn't utilize properly. And obviously, swing rounds like that is what allows NRG to actually get somewhat back into the game on the first half and allow them to actually get back to 8 rounds. And if that doesn't happen, all of a sudden you could be looking at a pretty significant advantage for Rush.
Yeah, definitely the swing either way of those rounds is something that can kill or make a team's momentum in terms of even taking the match later on. Yeah. We did see good eco plays, I think, from Rush, and they were able to do that over on their CT side, I believe. Was it CT side?
No, yeah. On their CT side, not a lot went their way.
Well, I mean, okay, so I'm thinking T side. Maybe. Yeah, so we saw a lot of good eco plays come out that way.
Yeah, normally it was pretty solid, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, it just never seemed to be in a situation where they were going to fully capitalize on it and really walk away from it.
Yeah, no, that's definitely the case. And things kind of normalized in many ways when you got on within that second half, and we got the game we expected to see. But it's still early days for Rush. I think Ruber actually had a pretty respectable, start to his comeback in that sense as well. He did pretty well for himself. I think he ended up on 16 frags. But it's still a working project, and I think they kind of have to brace themselves for the thought of having to play relegation matches.
Exactly. But we did compare Silent and PTR pregame. I do think that I've seen better games from Silent than what we saw here.
Yeah, no, definitely have. And I think we've seen better games from Peter as well. Peter didn't really do all that much on that CT side, which is actually kind of surprising because he's been their heavy hitter for the better part of the season. And still he outshined Silent in a big way. And I think Sam, again, pointed out pretty nicely, you know, when they got over to that CT side, Silent had multiple opportunities to actually have a bigger impact that could, you know, swing rounds in the favor of Rush, limit the economy of NRG early on and not let them get on that seven round run, but just not stepping up to the plate in time. And, you know, obviously, loss is not on him. You win and lose as a team, but he definitely didn't have anywhere near enough impact.
A big impact, but that you need an AWP to have.
Yeah.
Basically, in most all maps at this point, especially in Mirage, when we look at locking down the extremities of these sites.
Absolutely, and you could tell that, you know, NRG were trying to do that as well, like over on their CT side, by having Peter either push up Cat, getting boosted up, or, you know, because Rush was doing such a good job of taking mid control, but he was still being active around the map in that sense, trying to get stuff done. And Silent doesn't really seem like a player who's going to be able to actually do that for you in a lot of ways. So. Yeah, no, I'm not really sure if he's the right guy to go with in terms of sticking with the AWP for Rush. Maybe they have some other options in terms of, you know, players they can try to make into a primary, but I haven't seen really anything from Silent this season that kind of makes me think he's going to be a sufficient AWPer.
Both of these teams undergoing roster changes. We're getting our first taste of both here. Across Mirage, we're going to move into Inferno as our next map. What can we expect to see from either side of the equation?
I mean, again, newer map, so it's a bit of it is left up to chance. Obviously, I haven't seen Rush at all from memory, actually, on Inferno at all. We have seen NRG play a couple of times, and again, Peter's going to be very active with that AWP in hand over towards that B bomb side, you know, playing aggressively towards Car, taking aggressive peeks, and seeing if he can find early banana control and so on for his team on the CT side. Otherwise, on T side, it's pretty cookie cutter stuff, spreading out and defaults, seeing where, you know, first off, where the CTs are gonna, you know, be over eager and use too much utility. That, you know, that's the kind of stuff you can take advantage of. And outside of that, I'm hoping that we'll see something innovative in terms of, you know, new executes and whatnot. But I'm not too hopeful just yet.
There is a chance, though.
There is a chance,
and just in case, I think there's a real chance for Rush to come out here and put the hammer down. Maybe. When I said real chance, I meant that's a possibility.
Yeah.
Break it down in the numbers. I'm saying like a 33% chance that, you know, they walk away with a close bout here.
Yeah, no, I can get on board with that.
I like that.
Yeah.
Because I don't even know that my math was great there. Nonetheless, we're going to go a quick commercial break. When we come back, we've got NRG, we've got Rush, and we're going to Inferno. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.